we had a monster showing in California. And yes, the results aren't in yet. It's going to take them a few weeks. They will try to steal if they can, if it's close enough. There's all kinds of chicanery going on. Absolutely correct. Everything I talk about today is not necessarily predicting California goes red this election, but that's not the point. The point, as always, is watching the momentum. Because when you don't watch that, when you only look at results, final results, and you don't look at trends, you miss what's coming. And California last night gave us a very good idea of what's possibly coming soon. And it also showed MAGA and Trump are much stronger than the polls and pundits are telling us. Listen to this.
Selection.
Yeah, especially if you know L.A. County the way you do, the way I do, 51% in. And when you look at this, I mean, this is shocking. That's the only thing I can think of. Becerra, 29. Look at that. Steve Hilton, 215,000 votes.
You hear this? Already saying shocking. They're just talking about L.A. County. Hilton, 23% of L.A. County is shocking. That is true. That is a shocking number. These guys, man, they're not lying when they say this stuff. These guys aren't like Team Trump. They're letting you in a little bit. This wasn't supposed to happen. Hilton in the most liberal areas of California was supposed to be way down, not finishing second and so still holding first overall.
In Los Angeles County, that should tell you a lot about how a lot of people feel in the Southland about how things have been going and what they feel like might be the proper way to move forward. I'm gobsmacked by that number. Just for some perspective, let me share again. Orange County, this is what you would anticipate, right? 34 to 23, 16 for Tom Steyer. Steyer doing well, by the way, just north of Los Angeles. Let me take you over to Santa Barbara, 28, 25, 22. But even that is a big win. If you're Steve Hilton, you've got to be loving the fact that you're at 25% up in Santa Barbara County. But here's what I really wanted to draw your attention to, if you'll allow me for just a second. I'm going to take you up to just to Northern California, sort of Central California, up to Sacramento County. Look at this. Now, it's a government town. You know that, Trace. So you would expect that Javier Becerra would do very, very well. Hilton well back, but not as far back as some people might have anticipated. But let me share this. If you go in and around Sac, boy, does Hilton really start to pick up numbers, and it's consistent right there, 36 to 23. Pop over to Nevada, again, same thing, 33 to 21. It's going to be a very interesting night for Steve Hilton, and I imagine for a lot of people who didn't anticipate he would do as well as he is doing, Trey.
That's 100% correct. As of right now, Hilton is projected to go the runoff. They are going to try to steal it, but it's going to take a lot this time. It's going to take a lot. It might have been too big to rig. Because now what they know is Hilton's actually a threat in the general. Does that mean he's going to win? Likely not. Unless there's an absolute red wave and massive things change countrywide to trend upwards for Trump and MAGA in major ways. The economy turns around really quick. We get massive news. Gas prices go way down. There is a scenario where there could be an overwhelming push that could actually get them in. But the win is not what we're looking at right now. What we're looking at is a trend. California came in much redder than expected last night in the early voting. This governor race with Hilton in, as long as he's able to hold this lead, he will put up the biggest fight over governor we've seen since Schwarzenegger. That is a very good sign, especially because the California Democrat machine holding on, rigging these elections is more entrenched now and more powerful now than it ever was back when Schwarzenegger was a Republican who won. It's way, way stronger. And so this is a warning sign to them. They're starting to lose. Now listen to this. PSA to the politically illiterate, MAGA is dead and politically homeless coalition running a full-blown op on the American people. Between 2016 to 2024, Trump flipped 8 counties in California that hadn't voted Republican for president in 20 years. 8 counties. Fresno, Merced, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, Riverside, San Bernardino, Imperial, and Lake. Even with hometown Kamala Harris on the ballot, Central Valley and Inland California shifted hard right. As of this morning, Trump-endorsed Steve Hilton's dominating nearly all the same counties. Look at how red they are. Fresno County's almost plus 20. Merced plus 9. San Joaquin plus 10. Stanislaus 12. 3.5. San Bernardino 12 for Lake. Hilton's leading statewide, advancing to November. MAGA isn't fading, it's accelerating. The rightward shift Trump ignite is real, measurable, and continuing in the exact places that matter. Look at the difference in the map from 16 to 24. People are like, California has no hope. California's worse than ever. No, it's not. It's waking up. California's waking up. If this keeps trending this way by 2032, California will be red. It's just the facts, folks. When you combine the fact that California is waking up and getting redder, on top of the fact there's a lot of Republicans who didn't vote for years because they didn't have hope, and now they're showing up again, and then you add the election integrity measures Trump is getting in, the executive order on mail-in ballots. The Supreme Court just announced tomorrow we're getting decisions. We may get the mail-in ballot decision tomorrow as California's counting mail-in ballots, which is hilarious. We may get that decision tomorrow, which means you can't keep counting anything that comes in past election day. You change this stuff, you keep deporting, you keep pressuring illegals so they self-deport as well. The case is actually quite clear of how you can get California red by 2032. And if California goes red, oh man, Democrats are going to be a minority party for a long time. Long time. Now, they are going to try to steal it. Listen to the things they're saying, especially about the mayor's race. This is just crazy.
Polling place update's not going to be huge. So if we largely have half the vote to come, and it's going to be vote by mail, and you've already given me now, they've had 3 subsequent vote by mail updates. They're not huge, but they're not nothing. The pattern in them is Bass first, Rahman second, Pratt distant third.
Right.
If that were to be the pattern with the remaining vote by mail, it's going to come in days following the election. If it's 39, 36, 33, 20, something like that, which is what you're telling me these 3 roughly have been, she could erase that.
Did you guys just hear basically what he admitted? That all the mail-in ballots coming in are hard blue. Yeah, that's by design, right? And they're admitting they are going to try. They're trying to seed the narrative right now in case they're able to flip it. Now, asking for her, the number 3, to overcome this deficit is a big ask. It might not be able to be done. In fact, there's already some places who have called Pratt as advancing. So we'll have to watch. We'll have to watch and see. But the point is they're going to try, and that's obvious. We all knew that. Nobody's saying that's not going to happen. But again, the trend matters. Okay. It gets harder and harder to steal each time, especially as the rules are being changed. Now, like I said, some places have already called Pratt. This is Election Wizard, who does really great work, honestly. Nailed the 24 election. Spencer Pratt projected advance to a runoff against incumbent LA Mayor Karen Bass. There's a few others, not the big guys yet. They're going to hold off. They're mainstream media. But their algorithm says Pratt can't be overcome at this point. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to do it. But here's a good idea of what's really going on in California versus what we're being told about this blue state, which is not that blue. There's blue areas. There's blue entrenchment. But California as a whole is more of a red state. I've been saying it my whole life because I grew up there. But listen to this.
It's a much more lively vibe, and in very LA fashion, there's now a chopper flying overhead. He's having his party at a Mexican restaurant that he has loved for years. And there's some Spencer Pratt supporters here who seem in a very good mood.
Yeah.
You guys have
Instagram, Patriot Wildman.
You guys have probably seen the latest batch of polling that just came out. Shows him doing pretty well in second place, just 10 points behind Karen Bass. How are you feeling about that? Do you feel really confident that he's going to make it to the runoff?
Definitely, he's going to make it to the runoff. There's a lot of people who already voted for him. Their votes haven't been counted yet. They voted day of the election, old school style. So I think his numbers are going to get better.
What is it about Spencer Pratt that you just is resonating with you?
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA where it's turned to crap. It's not an accident. They're doing it by design. Karen Bass wants to destroy our city, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer Pratt.
I can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left, leaning people. So let's just say it this way. He doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life. Yeah. He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank you.
Outside. Oh,
We
you
have-
didn't
no.
like that.
We have-
She ran away. He doesn't
talked-
want homeless
Okay,
people outside of
we
the elementary
appreciate
schools
you.
having
Can I get a
sex
shout out real quick?
with their
We
own
appreciate
hands
you.
in front of the children.
We appreciate you. We've talked a
I
lot
don't
about the
appreciate
homelessness.
you.
Thank
I
you.
don't appreciate
All right.
you.
I'm gonna
listen.
They didn't want that information going out there on their news channel. She was panicked right there. She's panicking.
Don't
Liz,
appreciate you, ma'am.
I got it.
That's hilarious, man. They're waking up in Cali. They're waking up, and she wasn't expecting to get those answers. She thought she was going to get something more, vanilla, a little more vanilla, but it got up there. So, great stuff. Great stuff. Now, it wasn't just the mayor and governorship rate, but look at this. Democrats could be locked out of California 6. They thought the gerrymandering was going to pick them up, all these seats. But listen, we might save one. This could be a Republican pickup November, seeing as Rep. Amy Barrett currently controls this seat. Gavin Newsom, did he dummy-mander California? So they might get locked out. We have a Republican and independent leading over the Democrat in this seat. So that could be very, very interesting. And if that's locked out, well, guess what? As Seth Keshel is reporting, that the Democrats are relying on California to be 44-6 in order to win the House. If they lose even one of those seats in California, they're pretty screwed. And it's also proving there's not a blue wave coming. So again, we got lots of signal last night, guys. Lots of signal out of California. That is very exciting. Very exciting. So don't, I don't get the dooming. All right. Dooming is no bueno. Stop dooming. We got, trend is in our favor. And again, I just keep going back to this, guys. It's getting redder. 2032, I'm watching very carefully. Especially, let's wait and see what the Supreme Court says tomorrow. Because if it blocks the mail-in ballots, whoo-wee, they're going to have a lot of trouble cheating this year and going forward. All right. And then we have some other things that really interesting last night as well. Okay, so let's move out of California for a minute with more midterm news. But Zach Lane won last night in the primary against Feenstra, who is Trump's pick. Now, I will say this. Trump so far has cleaned up on his endorsements. That was his first loss. Trump didn't even endorse the guy until 4 days ago or a week ago. So he got in late. I don't know why he tried to push him over. There is some interesting stuff about the Zach Lane guy. Now, TPUSA did support him, and he's supposed to be a good MAGA candidate. But I will say I have one red flag about this guy. He is Tucker Carlson's preferred candidate. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be terrible, but it's something to watch for. And it might be why Trump didn't endorse him. Regardless, he has endorsed TPUSA and a lot of other MAGA types, and it is believed he should be a good MAGA candidate. So we'll see there. But he was the first to beat Trump's endorsement, and he squeaked it out. It was barely. If Trump had endorsed earlier, he probably wouldn't have won. But regardless, it could be one of those where he won by losing. But look at this. Look at the primary turnout. Okay, so in 2018. Only 105,000 Republicans turned out and 182,000 Democrats. We were told this is a blue wave election. Republicans are going to stay home. They're not excited about Trump. Well, in 8 years, again, midterm versus midterm with Trump, in 8 years, we got the Republicans more than doubled their primary voting. You think MAGA's not energized? More than doubled. Whereas Democrats only went up 10,000. That could just be explained by population increase. That doesn't show any more excitement at all in 8 years. So, guys, again, we're being lied to. We're being lied to by so much. MAGA is ready for these midterms, and I have a feeling this is the kind of thing that's like, this is why we're going to win. They are counting. They're counting on us not treating this like a presidential election, because we won the presidential, which proves we are the majority in the country. But in midterms, the lower propensity voters don't turn out because it's a midterm. We're not galvanized to go to the polls like we are for a president, except for when they make the midterms like in a presidential election. When they make it that big a deal. And that's what MAGA is starting to show. Oh yeah, we're gonna turn out like it's a presidential election. If that happens, they are screwed. They are 100% screwed. Now, this is great. While your conservative, quote unquote, heroes continue to shill for Qatar and Russia, Candace Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Sean Ryan, all these people, they're out there trying to deflect us, say MAGA's dying. TPUSA, the number one place attacked by Candace Owens, kicked ass for America last night. Incredible amount of political muscle continues to be flexed by TP Action, proving we're one of the most lethal endorsements every candidate needs. If you're blackpilling, you're almost certainly falling for foreign propaganda. I told you guys, a lot of you who watch my show, because I know this because I get a lot of comments whenever I bring this up. You maybe have woken up to the fact Candace Owens is trash and a liar. But some of you are still holding on to this belief that she started that TPUSA is bad. But no, they're trying to destroy TPUSA because it is one of the strongest get out the vote machines for MAGA. And it works. Whether you like them or not, TPUSA is important for our movement. And until there's a better replacement, we have to recognize that. Why did they try to take him out? Why did they kill Charlie and then immediately try to prove to us that Turning Point is a disaster? Why are they trying to tear down Erica Kirk and TPUSA with it? This is why. You don't have to like it, but them's are facts. And it was proven again last night. So, whatever you think, I'll tell you what. I'm going to trust the organization Charlie built over any of these doomer podcast to stand types always. Unless I see smoking gun evidence, I'm going to trust that. I'm sorry. I just am. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to trust anything that comes out of the mouth of somebody who's over in Russia right now meeting with Alexander Dugin. Sorry. Just can't do it. And I kind of think anybody who does at this point might be having a little screw loose. You're wanting stuff to be true that probably isn't. But that is what it is. Now, the Democrats keep bringing in these crazy people, which is also going to hurt them come the midterms. We've already been looking at Platner and Tallarico and their scandals and how just insane these people are. Well, last night, the Democrats nominated a terrorist-linked congressman. This guy is associated with Amar Abdal-Rahman, convicted of terrorism and seditious conspiracy in 1996. He led the jihadi terror cell of Islamic militants in 1990. assassinated extremist Rabbi Meir Kahane as he spoke at the Manhattan Motel. And then 3 years later, these are the ones who bombed the World Trade Center in 93. And he was a witness for them, for the defendants. This guy's a jihadist, and they just nominated him to be a House representative in New Jersey. The infiltration continues. However, the difference now is we see it. And you better believe the Trump administration is watching this very carefully. They are not going to let this guy have security clearance. So we'll watch and see how that plays out. Speaking of Talarico, here's a really fun clip that's going around of him in one of his sermons, one of his crazy psychopath, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian sermons. Listen to this guy. More and more nutty stuff's coming out. Listen to this guy.
The disagreement about the legality of abortion is not a disagreement about life. It's a disagreement about personhood. No one disagrees that an embryo is biologically alive. We each have trillions of living organisms inside of us right now as we sit and talk in this sanctuary. So the question is an embryo a legal person whose rights trump those of a woman?
Did you hear what he said? A legal person? This is gross stuff. Because the only argument people have for abortion is that it's not life yet. So when you're saying it's life, but it's not a legal person, that's a big rut-row. That is not going to look good for you, especially not in Texas.
I don't know many people who would seriously answer yes to that question. Legal personhood evolves with life, and life is change without clear or definite boundaries. But the only way we can allow the rights of an embryo to trump the rights of a woman is if we believe a woman is not a full person. And let me remind you that that has been the default belief throughout most of human history.
So because it might have been the default belief amongst the wicked of human history, that makes it right? I thought Christians are supposed to be different. Christians are supposed to be above worldly values. This guy is the biggest fraud. And you know, it's going to give me great joy to see him get his ass kicked as somebody who was a pastor for 10 years. He makes me sick. He makes me sick. This is the craziest stuff. But again, it shows you how far the left has gone. This is unapologetic that they're not legal people until born, which enables and opens up the door for making it legal for full-term abortion is also basically what he's advocating. Stuff's gross, man. These candidates, they're crazy. So we have a terrorist, we have that psychopath, and we have all these like Platner, who's a sexual deviant, and a cokehead. These are the people running for the Democratic Party right now. Now, with all this going on, and we see how we're winning a lot. We got the Megyn Kelly and them. They just want us to believe we're not going to win anything. Here's from the Megyn Kelly, Sean Ryan clip, but this is what they're talking about MAGA right now.
That defines MAGA down to nothing. It's a nub. So what's that? It's not large. It's not important. It's not cool. It's not appealing to young people. It has no future. Much like Mark Levin himself, it's old, it's angry, and it's...
So MAGA's old and angry. I don't know. Do I look old and angry? 42, Meg. But we're winning. And like, this is a great breakdown. It says they need people to believe this lie. It's absolutely true. They are pushing psyops on us to believe this so we doom and we don't turn out in future elections. This is their lame plan to win any elected office in 2028. Network has been coordinating to execute this plan for so long. They've given so much, burned every bridge along the way. They have to keep pushing forward. They can't turn back despite countless losses they've taken along the way, like last night, where we see we're gaining. This decade goes back decades. For what they've done, the strife they've caused, for what they've done to attempt to harm this nation, I'll delight when their lame movement of 1%, broken losers and leeches exposed. Absolutely. Which we're going to see. We're going to keep seeing that over the next couple elections. Going to get worse and worse. And one of the reasons is the crazy people they're running. Here's the Democrats panicking because they don't know what to do with this Graham Platner guy in Maine. He's such a psychopath. They don't know how to handle it. Here's the congressman, the senator from Colorado, how he handles being asked about Platner.
I think that
watch the panic in his eyes.
It's really important for us to have a standard of public behavior for our elected officials. I know there are a lot of elected officials that don't meet that standard.
I mean, you obviously don't think the president meets that high standard that you're talking about. Does Graham Platner meet that high standard in your view?
Well, I definitely don't think the president meets that standard.
But what about Graham Platner?
Standard. I think I think that's a fair question. That is what the election in Maine is going to partly be about.
What's your view?
I'm busy running for governor of Colorado. I think that...
What a total fraud. And by the way, this might be one of the only times I ever give Caitlin Collins prop, but listen, look at his face when he's first asked.
You obviously don't think the president meets that high standard that you're talking about. Does Graham Platner meet that high standard in your view?
Deer in headlights. Silence. Does it? He's like, man, Caitlin Collins, well done. This is their panic, folks. This is their panic. We got Chris Murphy doing the same thing. Here's another great example of another prominent Democrat scrambling when asked about Platner. You can tell the powers that be, CNN, etc., they got the memo. We got to get rid of this Platner guy. But the Democrats in power, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it.
I think it's hard to just say everybody should be good and moral. I think you've got to create a set of rules that promote goodness, promote the common good. And that's what this book is really about.
Should those rules apply to Democrats too? I mean, do you support Graham Platner even in the wake of all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't followed the minute by minute of what's happened over the last few days, but I do think there's a difference.
There's a difference. I write a book on goodness and morality, but when it comes to Graham Platner, there's a difference. These people, man, these people, it's unbelievable. So pathetic. Now, while they're scrambling, they don't know what to do. I mean, this is, they can't believe. See, the establishment wing of the Democrats who have been there, who are completely co-opted by City of London, and have been running this show for a while, running the party. Well, their useful idiots are their far left voters who keep voting them into office no matter what happens. But those useful idiots have just gotten crazier and crazier and crazier. And because of that, they're losing control of their own party, but they're losing it to the crazies. And the Democrats know this, and they are panicking about it. They're panicking because they're like, we're going to keep losing power because of our own. And we can't get away from them because if we get away from them, we don't have a base. What do we do? And so the base, they serve up people like mushy middle. Well, none of them are moderate anymore, but they come across as moderate. Mushy moderate Janet Mills in Maine. Janet Mills is who they want to be the nominee. This is why all the Oppo research coming out on Platner right now is believed to be coming from Democrats. The Republicans are holding their stuff because they want Platner to be the guy because they're going to dump it all at the general election. In Maine, they have one more month to get rid of this guy and get Mills in. That's what they want. But the base, the crazy cuckoo base, wants Platner. And they don't care how insane Platner is. But the base is a small fraction. It's small enough to control the primaries. It's not small enough to win the general election. I mean, not big enough to win the general election. And they know it, and they're panicking over it because the base keeps electing the insane people. Now, that same base wanted Bernie Sanders, and they blocked him twice in 2016 and 2020. He would have won, but they consolidated and blocked him twice. Because they were like, we can't control Bernie. He's crazy. And he is. He's more hardcore left than they are. He has his own stuff going on. He's terrible. He's awful. But he's crazy. AOC is crazy. Platner is crazy. Tallarico is crazy. Although they're trying to run Tallarico as a moderate, which is hilarious. The Dems know they have a problem because they're okay with the crazy stuff as long as it happens slowly and they can't control. But they know that the American people aren't going to accept it. So what they did is they let the inmates take over the asylum, and now they're scrambling to try to get it back, and they don't know what to do. And this is why you see them fumbling over these answers, because they have to toe this line of coming across as normal to the voters that will win them elections, but also come across as supporting the crazies who are the only reason they have a base at all. And that, my friends, is why the Democratic Party is imploding right now. They are absolutely imploding. Now, look at the polling that's starting to come out. We have this latest poll from Marquette. Registered voters or certain to vote, Republicans are now down only 1 point generic poll than the generic ballot. Certain to vote, they gained 5 in the last month. That's a huge red flag to them, folks. Democrats were ahead by 6 points. And now it's 1. And this is with gas prices high. This is with Iran stuck. They are in big trouble. As Derek writes here, if the issue polling is correct, GOP will probably do even better than the polls suggest, assuming the economy stays the same. This kind of advantage on crime, immigration, national defense is in total worth probably more than the economy. So as long as it's close, it's doomsday for the Democrats. And yet we get Harvard-Harris confirming as well a poll of 1,700 voters. These are left-wing polls, guys. Left-wing polls. This poll was 10 points a month ago. It's down to 2. They are screwed if we all show up. Oh, and remember, these polls are weighted. They are weighted assuming there's not going to be as big a turnout. But with the turnout we're seeing, it's absolutely proof positive we could be gaining. We could gain seats in the midterms. So don't doom. Everybody telling you there's a blue wave is wrong, especially now that we're getting numbers like this. 122,000 private hiring growth. That's ADP. That's not government numbers. This is the private sector reporting. Growth came in about 15,000 over projections. The economy is improving despite the gas prices, which Trump had this to say about.
We don't have very much inflation. Look, if you take away just the price of gasoline, the energy, we have very little inflation. We're doing very well other than this. So, but that's a big puller, energy and gasoline and all. That's a big factor.
People feel it.
So it's a very important item. And that'll start coming down very rapidly as soon as this ends. When it ends, but what we will have is we'll have a situation where Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
And that's really more important than all of it. We want low gasoline. I had it down to $1.85 a gallon. Think of it, $1.85 in Iowa. I was in Iowa just before the war started. And I had it down to $1.85 a gallon in various parts of the country. And it'll be back there again at some point in the probably not too distant future. I think as soon as it ends, it's going to come. It's already, by the way, it's already way down. You know that. I mean, I saw it the other day. It's $98 a barrel.
Yeah.
So everyone said it was going to be $300-400 a barrel. It's $98 a barrel.
He's absolutely right. And Trump has the real numbers. Inflation's low. The only thing up is prices for gas, which impacts a lot of stuff. But once those go down, everything else falls down. The economy, guys, is recovering. The numbers all say it. It hasn't reached our pocketbooks all the way yet, except for the tax returns. But that will come. There's a lag effect in the economy. Once an economy starts turning around, usually takes 12 to 18 months. It's usually another 4 to 6 months until everything starts reaching the people, which will be right before the midterms. Guys, it's going to turn around quick. We're heading in the right direction. And then there's this. For everybody looking ahead, Trump had this to say about Vance and Rubio, for everybody wondering which one's going to run.
You and play it.
It's a good idea. And now I was interested when you talked about how you studied Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance as they interact. What is their interaction? And
it's good.
How do they relate?
I study to see if they like each other. I just find it interesting. You know, it's life. It's big time stuff.
Do you do that with everyone in the cabinet?
I do it with everybody.
Do you?
Outside of the cabinet, too. I study everything.
Yeah.
I'm a studier.
Why?
Because it's interesting. It's the human thing, the human equation. So I watch them together. They get along great. They have a good relationship. They're sort of similar in a lot of ways, but they're very talented. And I think the two of them running together as a team would be very unbeatable. You
hear that? I think the two of them together running as a team would be unbeatable. I think Trump's telling us what's coming, guys. I really do. There's a lot of people who think Trump's pitting them against each other. And yet Trump keeps saying they get along great. They're like best friends. Vance and Rubio is going to be the ticket unless there's some major shock to come. And he's right. It will be unbeatable. It will be absolutely unbeatable. It will be 8 years. I'm telling you, we win this midterms, which I'm more and more thinking we're going to. California, man, it was a big indicator for me. More and more, midterms are looking better by the day. And if he pulls this off, I don't think we see blue for a very long time, maybe even a couple decades. It's trending in the right direction. We have by far the best candidates. The Democrats are imploding. They're looking crazier and crazier. They're scrambling. They can't even gain right now. When gas prices are high, temporarily high because of a war that's quote unquote unpopular, all the media people have turned against Trump that were supposedly on our side, or at least 80% of them. This should be when the Democrats are winning. This should be when the establishment Republicans are getting to say, I told you so. And what's happening? Trump is kicking their asses up, down, left, and right at every opportunity when he's at his weakest. And you're dooming? You're blackpilling? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. How could anybody be dooming right now? Guys, it's looking very good for November. We just have to show up. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep exposing the frauds. Show up and vote, and we're going to crush it for a very long time.